All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started if that's all right. Some other people might join us as we go along, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So thank you, first of all, for joining this webinar. My name is Todd Hodgkinson. I'm the president of Iowa Gifted and Talented, and I appreciate you joining us tonight. Before I turn things over to Erin Brewinski to talk about Minnesota Institute for Talented Youth Summer Programs, I did want to just take a moment just to give you some background about ITAG. Iowa Talented and Gifted has been around for 49 years. We're a nonprofit organization that's comprised of parents and educators and other professionals who share kind of a common interest in the growth and development of gifted individuals in the state. So, as I said, we've been around for a while, and we've been pretty instrumental in helping, working with the state legislature, not just to ensure that school districts serve gifted learners, but also that they receive the funding that they need to provide those services. So we also work with teachers and then with families in this capacity, sharing resources about how to raise gifted children or information about educational opportunities such as these. So by the way, speaking of which, I posted in the chat, if you can access that, a link to our website, www.iowatag.org. That has a page of summer opportunities, in addition to the document that I shared in the chat, which is newly created and is broken up by region, but just the different opportunities for summer learning across the state. So without further ado, then I will turn things over to Erica and let you introduce yourself.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erin Brewinski. I'm the director at MITY. And it is, first of all, thank you for taking time to learn more about our programs. I have 3 children at home at the moment. I'm guessing your kids are around. So if they come in and out, no big deal. I'm perfectly used to it. First of all, if I could, I would love to know what grade your child is in, or your children currently, and then if you have any background knowledge of us, because I don't want to tell you things that you already know or that are not relevant for you.
Okay, my name is Sarah, and I have a 7th grade boy, and there's a kindergarten girl, and I also have a 5th grade boy too, and both of the boys are in talented and gifted programming.
Okay, perfect, excellent.
And my name is Anna, and my son Micah is in 7th grade tag, and I have never heard about your organization.
Okay, very good. And can I ask, do either of you, as 7th graders, they would still this summer be eligible for our middle school program, which is for rising 6th through 8th graders. And that is a commuter only program. There's half day, full day, and extended day, but you would need to be able to commute. Is that something you'd like to hear about for the summer, or should we just look ahead to their high school years?
I think I know Anna. And for us, we live in Southeast Iowa. And so that would be something that would definitely have to be figured out, where we stay with someone or stay at a hotel or something like that. So I don't know, Anna, are you interested in that?
I'm interested. It might be harder to do for sure, but if you want to go ahead and give us that information, I think we would both be interested in it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Very good. All right. Well, so let me, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully I can do that. Whoops. Now I think I came off of Zoom. There we go. Share screen. Here we go. All right. How's that look? Good? Okay. All right. So Minnesota Institute for Talented Youth, a brief overview. We actually have programs for elementary, middle, and high school students. So anyone in grades 1st through 12. Our mission is to inspire and challenge intellectually curious students to pursue their passions within an inclusive community and empower them by basically building skills and relationships for lifelong success. We take our mission very seriously. We actually just revamped it about 2 years ago or so. And so every piece of that, we make sure we pinpoint and target, and parents and students so far are saying that we really do it. So I just want you to know that we are a very mission driven institution. So we were founded actually in 1967. I won't go through all the history, but basically, we have been around a long time. We were originally created as a high school program. We added a middle school, elementary, and online programming as society moved forward. The students that come to us come from all over the world. A lot less so in the middle school program, simply because we don't have a residential option for them. But our high school students, usually about 20% of our students are international students, which is really fun. And they come from everywhere from, China and South Korea to France, Egypt, Mexico, Brazil, kind of all over the world. And so that is really, I think, part of the experience. They also come from all over the United States and all over the Midwest. So it's certainly not just Twin Cities kids. So I'm going to start actually by telling you about our high school program, because it was our original program. And I think, unless you can figure out the transportation piece, it might be something for you to be looking for moving forward. We do have quite a few students from Iowa come up and stay with us in the summer. And so you would certainly not be alone in that. And if you wanted to be able to speak with some of them, I could, see if I can connect you to. So our high school program, we have two-week sessions. So one is in June and one is in July. They take place at Macalester College in St. Paul. It's a really great, beautiful campus. It's a really nice school, really safe place to be, as much as anyone, I suppose, can be safe, but it's a great neighborhood for the kids to be in. As I said, students can be day or residential, and they take one class for the full 2 weeks. So they choose what they want to study, and it can be, I'll show you the options in a little bit, but it can be anything from musical theater to philosophy to chemistry of medicine. I mean, we offer a lot of different classes, and our goal is to do things that students wouldn't typically get in school, but also things that are challenging and to meet other kids that share your same interests. So the reason I wanted to share my screen is so that you could see some pictures of students. So all the pictures and quotes and statistics you see are all from last summer's students. We have no homework, there's no grades, there's no tests. It is learning for the love of learning with other kids who love to learn. It's really, I can't express enough how inclusive and empowering MITY is. Students oftentimes tell me, and parents oftentimes tell me, that it literally was a life-changing experience for them. It's one of those things where I grew up in the Twin Cities and I would have been a MITY kid and I did not know about it. So, that's our big struggle as a nonprofit, is to get the word out to the kids that would most benefit from it. All of our classes are inquiry based, so everything is meant to be an interactive model. There's a lot of field trips. We don't go to, say, the Science Museum. Instead, we might go to the U of M's prosthetics limb lab or something like that. We wouldn't just go to a theater. We would do something behind the stage so that we are working, talking to the directors, doing something that would be relevant. We try to look at career options. We have a lot of guest speakers. You can see she's dissecting a brain, a sheep's brain. Classes are small. Classes are 8 to 16 students. And yeah, I think I talked about that. So the students really, I can't even tell you, most of them do not know anyone the first year they come. By the end of the first day, and I can speak to my own daughter's experience, she was super nervous going in. And by the time we came home, she would not stop talking about it. Like, she wanted to be there day, night, as much as possible. She just absolutely loved it. So from a parent perspective, I can also say that it really is just fun. I mean, it's summer. It has to be fun on top of being challenging. So, I think the biggest thing I can say is that people would recommend us, and that is, that's everyone takes the survey. So I think that's really important. Our teachers are either college professors or high school teachers that teach advanced classes. In the middle school program, it was also some middle school teachers that everybody is certified and gifted and talented, have advanced knowledge of working with this demographic. And, they don't come back year after year because we pay them a lot, because we don't. They come back because they love it and they want to be with the kids. And that is the most important thing that I'm looking for when I hire my staff. So the summer sessions, these are the same for the middle and the high school. So the first session is June 20th through the 30th. The second is the 10th through the 21st. Both programs run from 9 to 4. For the high school classes, there are 14 classes offered in each session. They're mainly different. There's a couple that are repeats just because they're super popular. And if you go to our website later, you can click on one and find the course description. You can find information about the instructor and so on. We also have a lot of professionals in their fields that are teaching for us. So for example, the songwriting teacher is a local musician as well as an English teacher. The architecture class is taught by a practicing architect who takes 2 weeks off of his job so that he can basically empower the next generation. He got into architecture because he went to a program like ours, and it inspired him. And so he wants to give back, which I think is awesome. So novel writing's taught by a published author, and she has a couple of books. A new one just came out, and she's fun. So Macalester College, this is what it looks like. Well, a little snapshot of it, so you get a sense. Students take one class, as I said, in the middle of the day in both the middle and the high school program. The students do have what we call rec time. So they have lunch, and then there's a lot of different options every day. So it could be things like you can do the chess tournament. The one on the left, they're looking for the medallion hunt. And so we have really hard clues, since these are really intelligent children, and they look all over campus and they try to find this, and then they get a prize, of course. But we also hang up hammocks and slack lines. We have a talent show. We have wacky track meets. We have like ultimate frisbee and soccer. There's beading. There's literally something for everything. And if your child happens to be more introverted, they can also just read a book, hang out by themselves, take a breath, whatever they might need to do. So in the high school program, it's much more, I don't know, we want the kids to be able to grow some ownership as they experience that post-secondary life in a meaningful way. The middle school students also have choice, but they have to be in one area or another. They're not free to roam around as much as the high school kids are. For the residential program, they stay in the dorms. There's 2 to a room, and then they have it's a shared bathroom with about 10 other students and a dorm supervisor. There are evening and weekend activities. About every other night they go off campus. So you can see we go to baseball games, we go to theaters, escape rooms. I always tell them to do the adult level, the hardest level they can do, to make sure that it's interesting and challenging for the students. And then the other nights when we're not going off campus, they have a variety of activities that they can pick from. And then some of them just say, I just need to sleep because, you know, they're kids, they're growing. So parents' feedback, I don't know, I think it's just helpful to kind of see the classes and the teachers. So application process. Before I do that, I want to show you a little bit about the middle school program. This picture I love. Last year we introduced a plank to board engineering a longboard class that I was like, oh, I don't know if that'll be popular. It filled up within the first week that we opened it this year. So the kids had a blast. They learned all sorts of things and they had to figure out the physics of it and then actually ride safely. It was phenomenal. So a lot of the same types of classes, the same types of, you know, certainly lots of hands-on work and lots of field trips. So you can see some of the middle school students. They go on a lot of field trips. So this was an outdoor, oh, actually that class was a STEM theater. So we try to do interdisciplinary work when we can. So they were learning about environmental causes and then it was co-taught by a science teacher and a theater teacher. And so then they were putting on a play, which they then presented to everyone to teach them about sustainability. And it was super cool. So rec time. Again, the students choose their classes. For middle school, they can choose to take a morning class and an afternoon class. Their attention span is shorter than a high school student's. And so it's really important that we kind of mix it up. We encourage them to do left brain, right brain things. So they might do an art class in the morning and then do a math class in the afternoon or something like that. Because, you know, this is a great time for them to just try something new. There's no pressure, you know, and so we really try to encourage them to like, oh, if you're curious about something, why not go for it? Or maybe you're interested in a career in medicine or law or something like that. You know, why don't you take a class and just check it out and see how that feels. This summer for the middle school, we have over 40 different classes. There are 2 different locations. One is in St. Paul and one is in Minneapolis. You can see that these are more geared towards middle school in some respects. Things like the physics of sports or some of the robotics type things. A lot of STEM classes are appealing at that age in particular. And lots of different things. So it's fun because you draw on kids that have all sorts of different interests, which I think is really fun to have them come together. So there's our teachers. All right. I am going to stop sharing because I've talked a lot. And I would love to hear any questions you have or what else I can tell you.
So does that include the weekend as far as these classes go?
For the residential program, they do stay overnight through the weekend, but the classes themselves only run on weekdays.
Erica, it looked like most of the sessions are 2 weeks, you said, right?
Correct.
Do you have like a 1 week option? I'm just thinking of families who maybe are coming from out of state or commuting. It might be easier to stay 1 week, something like that. But
yeah, at this time we don't. It's something we're definitely exploring moving forward. I think it's especially hard now for high school students to be able to take 2 weeks off from jobs or childcare or something like that. And so we're really trying to find ways to give them the experience without presenting a hardship for them.
sure.
Did you say what size the classes are for class size?
Yeah, great question. Anywhere between 8 and 16 students. So very small, meant to be lots of interaction. So you really get to know the students.
And the middle school is like 6th, 7th, and 8th, or?
Correct. So students entering grades 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Up until this year, actually, the current 7th graders were eligible for our high school program. But I decided to shift gears. It was too big of an age range. It was overwhelming for the youngest students, I think, and underwhelming for the oldest students. And especially since COVID too, COVID really set us back both academically, but also with the non-cognitive skills and social development and everything. And so this feels like a much more appropriate fit. And that also gives the current 7th graders leadership opportunities within the program that they didn't otherwise get to have.
Do you have any families commuting from a distance? And if so, how do they work out that for the day I'm thinking program?
Yeah, so we definitely have students come. We actually even have an elementary program that is Saturday mornings for 3 hours, and we have families that commute about an hour and a half each way. I think it's the furthest that I know of. We do have a carpool. You can opt to be on a carpool list. We did have a couple of students commute from Northfield, but that's still only about an hour. And they just took turns driving. They had, family. They went to community members, and that type of thing. Sometimes they can find people to stay with, relatives, friends of friends, So we try to do as much as we can to help. But we don't have the capacity right now. We don't have a location for the middle school students to stay overnight. Plus, it's I think it's cool to get to that high school level, and then, it's kind of scaffolding.
So this is based off of the year that they just completed?
Correct. So if they're in 7th grade now, they would have 1 year of middle school this summer. And then the following summer in 2024, they'd be eligible for the high school program. Yeah.
Are there financial assistance programs?
Absolutely. Really good question. So for students that live outside of Minnesota, we have a financial aid application. You would submit, tell us your household size, any kind of circumstances that are going on, your husband lost his job, or you take care of an elderly parent, or, whatever it might be. Or you who knows, everybody has stuff, right? And then you say how much you can pay, and then, what you're looking for. You submit your family's most recent federal income tax statement. And then we have a lot of donors. We apply to a lot of grants. I spend a lot of time just trying to get scholarship funds so that if kids want to come, we can find a way to get them there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think last summer we had about 28% of our students were on financial aid. And that varies anywhere between about 23 and 35 every year. So.
What are your deadlines like for applying?
Oh, yes. So we use a rolling admissions process. So we actually opened our applications on January 1st and have been accepting students since then. We will accept students all the way up basically until a class is full or about a week before the program starts. So it's kind of first come, first serve as far as getting into classes goes. You'll be able to tell if a class is full and put on waitlist status because it'll say that next to the course title and on the application itself. Right now, I only have not even a handful of summer classes that are full. So there tends to be a big flurry kind of after the spring break time when everybody goes, summer, what are we doing? and get signed up. So except for the ones that have signed up already are kind of returning families that know like, oh, I want this class. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign up in January or whatever it is. But so don't worry that there's plenty of room left. When students apply to, I never actually explained that, the online application is really just demographics. Students choose their first and second choice classes. And then they get into their first as long as there's room still. If there's one that's on a wait list, you can always put it down, and then, families plans change, things happen. And, obviously if spots open up, we let you know, but then they submit their most current transcript or grade report. They write a paragraph introducing themselves and why they want to attend. And then they have a teacher recommendation, and it's just a form. It takes teachers 2 minutes to fill out. Teachers are really busy. We don't want them to be writing a formal recommendation letter. But what we're trying to do is get a holistic picture, because gifted and talented mean a lot of different things. And so, especially since the pandemic, there's been so much, mental health with these kids. They might have had a terrible year grade wise, but, they explain that in their paragraph, and the teacher says, this is a beautiful kid, they would be great. And so that's what we're looking for.
Does your curriculum vary from year to year, as far as if someone signs up for math this year and then next year, is it the same math class again, or do they change it up?
Yeah, so courses change every year, maybe about, oh boy, probably about half are repeated year after year. And part of that is the instructors wanting to offer the same class, or the popularity of the class. And then about half the classes are new. So for example, this year, we used to have actually, one of my long-term teachers just retired, and he had taught a sequence where you really needed to take both classes. And it was a kind of getting through pre-calc, algebra and trig and pre-calc. What we decided to do instead is to really focus, because you can get that other places. Instead, we're looking at things like applied mathematics, and things that you probably wouldn't get into the school setting, to see like, oh, why is this math important? I'm really good at this, but how can I stretch my thinking in different ways? So, classes, if they're super popular and the teacher's really into it, we'll offer it again, but there's always a lot of different options. We have kids that have been been with us since, first grade, and have come all the way through, because there's a lot of different things. Yeah.
Any other questions? Or so Eric, if we wanted to get in contact with you again, could you give us that information?
Yes, absolutely. So our website is MITY.org. I can be reached at, I'm just putting this into the chat, Erica at MITY.org, or info at MITY also works. And all this, of course, is on our website. Feel free to ask me lots of questions. As you can see, I'm trying to be very approachable. I'm just a mom too, and an educator, and just trying to help out families so as much as possible. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for your time and sharing this information.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to those who attended. And yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you
Great.
so much. It was very informative.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.